Okay, Waka, so we're in that turn on page 35, fitting quadratic functions to data. Quadratic regression Desmos steps. Step 1, search for the quadratic regression Desmos in the Google search bar. Step 2, click on quadratic regression Desmos. Step 3, delete the x and y values in the table. Step 4, enter the x and y values into the table. Step 5, use the equation y equals ax squared plus bx plus c and given a equals, b equals, and c equals values to write the equation. All right, go ahead and finish that up, and let's take a look at the first example. Example 1. Use the vertex estimate 3, 7.5 and the point 7, 5 to find the quadratic model, round a to the nearest tenth. Step 1, solve for a using y equals a, parentheses x minus h squared plus k. All right, so the vertex is here. This is h and k. Okay, and then this is x and y. So x equals 7, y equals 5. Okay, so let's plug those numbers in. So that's 5 equals a, we don't know, parentheses x, which is 7, minus h, which is 3, squared, plus k, which is 7.5. All right, so first off, we can do 7 minus 3 squared. So I can go to parentheses 7 minus 3 squared is 16. So that's 5 equals 16a plus 7.5. Subtract 7.5 from both sides. That's negative 2.5 equals 16a. Divide both sides by 16. That divided becomes 1. So a equals, let's go ahead and put that in a calculator. And let's go back. We want scientific calculator. All right, so negative 2.5 divided by 16. Now, we want to round that to the tenths. That becomes negative 0.2. Because the 5 rounds a 1 up to 2. Okay. All right, so now we plug that in. So that's y equals, our a value is this, so negative 0.2 parentheses x minus h is 3 squared plus k is 7.5. Okay, so an approximate model in the vertex form is negative 0.2 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 7.5. All right, go ahead and finish up example number 1. All right, let's take a look at example 2. Use the intercept estimates 1.4 and 8.3 and the point 4, 5 to find the quadratic function model. Round the a values to the nearest hundreds. Step 1, find the quadratic function model using the x-intercepts x1, x2, the function y equals a, parentheses x minus x1, parentheses x minus x2, and the point 4, 5. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug all the numbers in. So y, this is going to be x, this is y. So we have 5 equals a, we don't know, parentheses x is 4, so 4 minus x1 is 1.4 times x minus 8.3. All right, so now let's solve for 8. So we have 5 equals a, parentheses 4 minus. All right, so let's go ahead and get this number using decimals. So parentheses 4 minus 1.4, parentheses 4 minus 8.3. And we're going to round it to 1 decimal place, or the tenth. So that means, well, actually, let's do all the rounding at the end. So 5 equals negative 11.18. Hey, that's usually the better process, is to wait and round at the end. So, okay. And then the last step is we're going to divide by negative 11.18. So a equals, let's go and use our calculator, 5 divided by negative 11.18. And we're going to round that to 1 decimal place. So the 7 rounds a 4 up to a 5, which rounds a 5 up to a 4. But to be safe, actually, technically we can use the logic of 4. So the 4 doesn't round the 4 up, so I'm okay writing that as negative 0.4. Okay. So now our equation is y equals negative 0.4 parentheses x minus 1.4 parentheses x minus 8.3. All right, so the approximate model and intercept form is f of x equals negative 0.4 parentheses x minus 1.4 parentheses x minus 8.3. All right, go ahead and finish up example 2. All right, example 3. From the graph, an approximate quadratic function model for the graph data was estimated using the vertex and another point. The approximate model is y equals 0.3, and that's not wrong to write it that way, but I think it'd be better to write it as 0.3. That way, with the 0 in front, it's very clear there's a decimal right there. And we can just stay consistent, just write that. Okay. All right. So use the table above in the quadratic regression feature on decimals. Find another quadratic model for the data. Round to the nearest hundredths. And actually, let's, just to be consistent, that's not wrong. But since we've rounded to the nearest tenth on everything else. Let's just be consistent around to the nearest tenth here. Okay. All right. So I Googled Desmos quadratic regression calculator. This came up. Now you'll see it comes with data, so we need to go through and delete this. Okay. Now we're going to fill in our table. So -1, 1, 9, 11, 19, and 11, 5, 5, 11, 59. We don't care about this column right here. We just care about these two columns right here. And then there is our information right here. So our equation would be y equals 0.3 So there is your quadratic regression equation. All right, go ahead and finish up the example, start working on your assignment, and have a wonderful Wildcat day.